I think we are live, and thank you, and welcome to another Tuesday night gun chat with me, Alaskan Ballistics. Just having fun talking dude stuff, and just having fun talk reloading, hunting, anything you want to talk about. New guns. I've got some new toys to play with that we'll talk about. I can't show them on TV, but I think I can show the box, and most of you can probably guess what this is. So if you can't guess what that is, let me know. You guys know you do that. Y'all can do that. Y'all can probably guess that based on a lot of my caliber content. So anyway, join the Arms Directory group or the MeWe group, or find me at AK Ballistics on Twitter. If you haven't seen one of these shows before, just ask me any question you want to about guns, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. And if you give a super chat, my answer is probably worth less than what you paid. And if you don't give a super chat, it's for free and probably not worth that much anyway. All right. So, uh, we got a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to shout out the chat. We got David Posey. All right. And Red Baron. Montana Musings is in the chat. He's about to join here in just a second. Hunter Kirk from Good Evening from North Idaho. And evening, Alaska One Andy. Appreciate it, man. I'm still getting on the second reload with some of your brass here. Keith Reese, hey everyone, going to listen while I'm loading up a few rounds of 308 Winchester. There you go. Killed my first deer in Georgia with a 308 Winchester. We're running as fast as she could, 40 yards in the deep wood. Pop, dropped her right there. All right. Don't forget to join the Arms Directory page. And then let's see. Got our first question here. So we're going to go to Steve and then we'll answer some questions. Everybody say hi, Steve. And Steve.
Hey, everybody.
From Montana Music. I like that shirt. That is an awesome looking shirt.
Yeah, you do? Yeah.
It even makes you look prettier, which is hard to do.
I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, right. I'm wearing a Chooks Outdoor Adventure shirt tonight. So everybody go subscribe to Chooks. Give them some crap for me. All right. But yeah. What's going on with you, Steve?
Well, we've just been doing some shooting. I got some load development done for my 6.5 PRC, loading up some 147 grain ELD matches, and
nice.
Did some testing on some 70 grain nozzlers in my 6 arc and some 105 match burners that I'm not sure if my gun likes yet or if I got to do some tweaking on that. So they're about 1.25 inch loops, and that's not good enough. So
no, but that's good enough to start tweaking and see what's there.
Yeah.
By tweaking, he means play around with it. YouTube. It doesn't mean actually tweaking. So anyway, you got to tell the YouTube overlords what you actually mean.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. We got first question here. Is it true some 45 ACP pistol can shoot 45 super? It is true that I know of one, the HK USP, and maybe the HK P30 or whatever it is, the 45 tactical. I think they can shoot it, but you want to double check with HK, and you still might want to change your recoil spring to a heavier spring. And if you do that, sometimes your magazine spring's got to be changed to a heavier spring. At that point, 45 lightweight stuff may not work. So it just kind of is what it is. So, is what it is. You have any comments on that, Steve?
I don't know too much about that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's something I started exploring. What's up, Bamsay? It's good to see you. John McVeigh, finally caught a live chat. Long time listener, first time live though. That's good. I finally started a little bit earlier in the evening, so hopefully that'll help. David, what is up? How you doing, David Walcott? Dusty Bowhunter, looking for a Ruger GP100 and 327 Federal Magnum. Oh, good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Heisteman, good evening. Is the barrel spring the only consideration for 45 Super? It has to be a fully supported chamber barrel, and then it has to be the spring. Some people like to change the hammer springs. Magazine springs, up the magazine springs to a higher pressure rolling one. That's a good one. So, okay, here's a good one. Steve, I'll let you answer this one first if you want to. David Walcott, what's this good? what's a gun shotgun round? I mean, what's a good shotgun round? I think he means for home defense. Go ahead.
I actually have a Wolf double aught that I bought a while back, and so I've got it ready next to my 12 gauge, and that's what I would use. But in the
There you go.
shotgun and its home defense, it's just about anything you throw out of that thing is going to probably do the job.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If it's a really big or really fat person, or if it's multiple people, I would not recommend low bird shot. A lot of people say low powered bird shot because it won't recoil that much and it won't go through walls. That's a myth. It'll go right through bunches of walls. It'll go through like 8 sheets of plywood or more. Um, excuse me, 8 sheets of sheetrock or more. Um,
Mhm.
so I think Paul Harold did a test, and New York Prepper did a test, and it went through a lot of sheetrock. So it might have gone through 12 or 13. I can't remember. So it is definitely something you want to consider. So if it's going to go through anyway, you might as well use a bigger shot that's going to put that shot size that's going to put them down. Don't use a light
Yeah.
load of number eight buck bird shot. If you're using a pump gun, I like low recoil buckshot. If you're using a semi-auto, well, then you have to tailor the load to what your shotgun feeds with the gas system or the recoil operated system. A lot of shotguns get ammo picky. All right. Um, Me personally, um, you know, if it were crap hits the fan scenario, and could have people and strangers trying to break in all the time, I would hand load up some what I call chuck shot, which is 8 pellets of number 8 buckshot and 3/4 of an ounce of number 4 copper plated turkey shot. So you got number 4 buck and then number 4 bird right on top of it, and it's a high brass load of 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 1 1/4, or whatever it is. So it's a high brass load, and that will put anything down because you have the deep penetrating buckshot and you have the copper plated, which penetrate better than most birdshot in there as well. But I would not use hand loads for home defense or self defense. And the reason why has nothing to do with what the DA might think. They go and pattern test your story with gunshot residue. This is from my aside my up. Okay, so expert, right? They actually do like a pattern test, gunpowder residue test. And if you're using hand loads, it may not reflect in their tests correctly. They may not get the correct. They may not go hand load the correct ammo correctly. They may not take your lot number of ammo and correctly. And so there's a good video by Isab Mayab, and that's why you use factory ammo for home defense, self defense. In any way or shape or form. Um, that being said, I'd love to whip out my 308 for home defense and shoot my 125 grain Nosler Accubons. They'll probably collapse inside the body and not do very much damage on the way out. But the other thing is you also got to look at your home design. Like a lot of people don't think about this. I'll never buy a split bedroom house. One of my friends, beautiful house, modern look on the outside, great amenities on the inside. All three of the kids' bedrooms are over here. Their bedroom's over here. If somebody breaks in the front door, which is the easiest place to break in, or the back door, easiest place to break in, they're shooting across their house. And they have a 12 gauge for self defense, so home defense. So
Yeah.
that's really, really not cool. So you need to see how your house is set up. My bedrooms will always be on the same side of the house. We're building another bedroom downstairs. It'll be underneath my bedroom. It'll literally be my retreat point if I can get to it. So like, yeah, all your bedrooms need to be on the same side of the house. So if you're in a split bedroom or something like that, you're going to have to look at, that's when you look at beanbag rounds for your first shot, to be honest with you. I mean,
Well, most of your shots are going to be, you're going to be within 20 feet or so probably, and that pattern is going to be, most of that pattern is going to be all centered, concentrated. That it's not going to be spun up by that point, so you're going to have a pretty good wall up to whoever's there.
But still, even you get a head and neck shot, some of that pattern might go through and keep going. And that's the thing. That's the thing is, like, no matter what you're using, some of your pattern might go through. So it's very, very important that you use something that you know what you're using, and that you definitely that you know what's behind you're targeting what's behind it. So always set up. Never buy a house like that. Split bedroom design. Just gun owners don't buy a split bedroom ever. What's up, Joshua Grantland? Good evening, fellow Alaskans. Yesterday I got a 454 Casull. It's an interesting round. Yes, it is. It's a great round. All right. Yeah. I believe there have been. I think there was a Springfield or something like that. Oh no, Wilson. There have been some like high-end 1911s that were specifically offered in 45 Super. So yeah. Tim and O'Neill, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. Let us know if you got any questions, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. I have seen an HK USP state in its verbiage that it is rated for 45 Super. That being said, always check with each individual gun model against official manufacturer spec. I've actually shot an HK USP compact in 45 Super. Like, I've actually shot it. TwoCAD one. So I've actually shot it. Yes, it can be done. What's up, Tex? I'm just going to call you Texas Professor. All right, late here, but here from Central Texas. It's good. I'm a little early. Yeah, full power buckshot's always good for home defense. 125 grain Hornady 357 Magnum's not a bad idea. More pellets. Yeah, I would go with number 4 shot and number 4 buck instead of double aught. More pellets. The pellets are smaller, so they'll travel through less. So it is what it is. Leonard, it's good to see you again, brother. All right. I would go 2 3/4 inch. Some shotguns you can fit more of them in there, especially if you have a longer tube. And I would go number 4 buck. Number 4 buck. Personally. The pump action, yep. What's up, Daniel Ravenstar? Great supporter of the channel. Appreciate you, brother. Good evening, David Thompson. What's up, David W? German brick walls for home defense. There you go. There you go. Yep. And everybody wants to think about home defense, but not what they're going to do it. I have a narrow entryway, and so we have our water station. Like, we have one of those big water coolers that you see at an office that you hit the button. It's got the big tank, 5-gallon tank on top. And we do that for water because it's a lot cheaper, and the tap water here is awful. And so, I take the empty jugs and I put them in front of the door at night. Think about it. My front door is the easiest place to break in and kick in the door. Okay. My side door near the garage, we keep a bunch of stuff there. If you try to break in, you're gonna run into stuff, and the door's not gonna open correctly, and all that kind of stuff, and you're gonna make noise. So, just things guys need to think about. Like, and I'll move them back in the morning when I'm ready to leave. Especially if it's an empty jug of water, because that makes a lot of noise. So a lot of people don't want to think about what they would use for home defense. I'm sitting here and I'm loading 308 in my magazine. I guess I can do that on YouTube. I'm not showing a gun. But a lot of people don't think about what is my home like for home defense. So where can I retreat to? What can I do to give myself extra warning? Because I take some medicines at night. I'm out. Like, I don't hear the baby scream half the time. Courtney's like, "Get up!" And I'm like, "What? Huh?" So, like, how am I going to hear somebody breaking in the door? And then when I hear somebody breaking in the door, it's that darn turtle she has in a turtle tank in the living room, moving its rocks around. I want to shoot that dang turtle. All right, make turtle stew. but I would like to keep my wife, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, what's up? Pat RMG, Winter Storm Finn left us with no electricity, no internet, and a tree across the driveway. Man, I hope you're okay, and all your videos are okay, man, or all your vehicles are okay. So, yeah, just give me a call sometime when let me know if there's anything I can do for you, brother. Um, good, best of luck to you, man. Take care out there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we've
I
had
know.
the weirdest.
Go ahead.
We've had the weirdest winter here too. It's been warm, but it's supposed to. Well, it was 30 degrees when I came up here to do this, and tomorrow morning it's supposed to, or the next day, tomorrow night it's supposed to be 25 below. So it's going to be change.
Yeah, last weekend, no, a week ago, last Sunday we went shooting. It was 18 degrees. The day before, or the Friday night before that Sunday to that Saturday, it was negative 18 degrees. It like warmed up 36
Yeah.
degrees in a day. Yeah. So, which was nice. We could go shoot without it being deathly cold. Because 18 degrees is comfortable if you're bundled up. It's not comfortable if you're not.
Yeah.
Length of shot shell does not matter much. Single, more pellets, more noise and recoil. Hey, there you go. Yep, it's Texas Professor. Nice call. You're welcome. What is up, Trigger Bar? Also saying hi to you.
Hey, Trigger Bar.
Hard to believe there's still people that use FMJ for home defense. Yeah. Mostly people that use ARs, and it's like crazy. Like, don't use an AR for don't use full metal jacket for home defense. It'll go through your house and will probably go into your neighbor's house the way modern houses a bit. Now, if you got an old, nice, sturdy brick house with good timber and high insulation factors and stuff like that, that's different, but still. 90 grain FTX.
Yeah, I run 45 grain soft points in mine.
Yeah, there you go. I run 62 grain TSX. Because I know at that range it'll expand, and at long range it'll work like a full metal jacket, and it's got a real similar point of impact to the full metal jacket's green tips. So I can hit better than a man with either one at 300. So I'm not really worried about that. And so same thing with my 60 grain VMAX that I have hand loaded. But kind of is what it is. I managed to test the Federal Terminal Simp on a moose this season. Not at any long range, but shot performance was great. Bang flat was the results. Cool. Cool. What caliber, what bullet weight grain, and where did you get your moose? Here in Alaska or where else? Let me know. And congratulations. I used my Barnes LRX on a moose. Made a bad shot the first shot, and the second shot was bang flop. But I did have to put another one when I went up to him, and that was a 127 grain out of my 6.5 by 284 Norma. So. Accubon versus LRX up to 300 yards, 2SM, WSM hand loading. Any difference or splitting hairs? It's going to be really which one's more accurate. The LRX will give you better penetration than the Accubon long range, but the regular Accubon should give you really close to the same penetration as the LRX. Both of them. So the LRX, in my experience, is actually better than the Accubon when it slows down. The Accubon, the Accubon needs speed, just like copper bullets do. It's very heavily bonded. I shot my first caribou at 280 yards with a 30-06 180 grain. I only had a 22-inch barrel. That thing was going 2588 out of the muzzle. It's supposed to be getting like 2650, 2700. But because it was a shorter barrel, 22 inches instead of 24, it was getting 2588, and that Accubon long range, or that Accubon regular Accubon, just did not open up at all. It didn't open up until I hit the neck and the top shoulder, and that finally brought it down. But it was just like a full metal jacket going right through it. So, what do you think?
Well, speaking of the LRX, I was just my daughter-in-law shoots a 7mm08 for when they go elk hunting, and they've been using 154 grain interlocks, but they don't seem to be real accurate out of that gun. And I was thinking about hand loading them some of the 127 LRXs for it, which might get them some more velocity as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, they don't make one. It's a 7 mm .08, not a 6.5. So it's going to be 139 or
Yep.
145 or 168 grain, or your LRX is in 7 mm. I killed a caribou at 459 yards with the LRX 139 grain factory load. So, and that one shoots about MOA in my gun, depending on which lot number and which day I shoot it. Um, could be point 0.8, could be 1.2 if I'm not doing my part, but definitely could be that. I uh, I think in 7 mm .08, I'd want to go. If she's staying under 300 yards for her shots,
Yeah.
I'd go the 120 grain TTSX. Get your speed.
120. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
get your speed. I've got a video on them in 7 mm .08 as well. Out of an 18-inch
Right.
barrel, they're getting 29 plus. So, which means they're losing.
That's going to be substantially. Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah,
way more velocity. Yeah.
yeah. The 139, you should be able to get 29 out of it, but that's going to be like your max. Well, you know what? Let me pull up the Barnes data on my phone. Let's talk about that real quick. 7 mm .08. This is a great question, by the way. Um, Documents. 7 mm. Oh, first one to pop up. Barnes load manual, 120 grain. Excuse me, 139 grain. You should be able to push into the low mid 29s with the right powder. Looks like Power Pro 2000 will send it 29.33. A 2700 will send it 29.39. Big Game from Ramshot will send it 29.10. Reloader 17 will send it 29.11. Of course, that's probably unattainable right now.
Right.
Um, so that 139 grain LRX will open up at farther distances than the TTSX. But if you want, if she's got a 20 or 22-inch barrel, over 3,000 should be possible, and possibly up to 31 with the 120 grain TTSX, and that'll get a really
Right.
flat trajectory as well. Looks like BLC2 sends it at 31.58. CFE 223 sends it at 31.96. So you're talking 3,200 right there. So
Yeah, that's some good velocity.
even if she's got a shorter barrel, 3,000, 3,050, 3,100 should be really possible.
Yeah.
Um, with that 120 grain. So I would send that. I've also found it to be really accurate in my son's 7 mm .08 as well. So, um,
Yeah. Thanks.
yep. All right. Is 270 Winchester better than the 6.5 PRC Colt? No way in heck. Go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know. I just love my 6.5 PRC. I haven't shot a 270 for probably 30 years. But yeah, I love that thing. This is my results from the weekend, and I don't know if you can see that, but my last three shots were 57.4 and 57.6, right in the middle there, and they were practically touching that's just right around max load on that thing, and that's a Winchester XPR. It's a $650 gun, and it's just pretty darn
Yeah.
accurate. So there's hardly any recoil. I mean, anybody can shoot them things, and they do really well.
Yeah. Saw a pistol in 44 AMP for 1,500 gun prices are steadily going down. At least here in Oregon. Yeah, they're going down a little bit. Yeah. Overall, ammo prices are coming back down too. People realized it was a fake ammo crisis and stopped buying it at outrageous prices. So, let's get back to this though. So 270s have horrible throat erosion. They do not have match grade chambers that fit from rifle to rifle. You can pick up a 6.5 PRC with a match grade rifle and put match grade ammunition in it. It's going to shoot all day long. Pick up another rifle from another manufacturer with a match grade trigger, match grade ammunition. It's going to shoot all day long. 270, you're going to have to experiment with different loads. 270 requires you to get at least 165 grain bullet to match the ballistic coefficient of the 6.5 PRC, and 270 won't send that as fast. So, for example, the 127 grain Barnes LRX in 6.5 PRC with reloader 26, you can get 3250 in 6.5 PRC. I've gotten over 3150 in 6.5 PRC with a different powder and a shorter barrel. The 270 will not send the 129 grain. You're lucky to get 32. And the 6.5 PRC can push it at 3250 with a higher ballistic coefficient. So the same thing with 140 grains. Okay, so 147 ELDM, you should be able to get 2950 at least. That's about what you get with a 140 grain in the 270 with a horrible ballistic coefficient. So there's that. The throat erosion's bad. Most of the time, because they're not having match grade chambers, to fit my wife's 270, to fit 20 thousandths off the land, that bullet won't go in the magazine. It's that much longer than the dang magazine. So I, I'm not a 270 fan. I know, Jack O'Connor killed everything in Alaska with it. Yeah, whatever. You can kill stuff with it. I'm actually considering taking my wife's 270 hunting next year. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm a fan. That just means that it's a lighter weight rifle. If I had the same rifle and fixed 6.5 PRC, I would take it instead. But it's a lighter weight rifle. Kind of is what it is. So.
Yep.
I take meds to sleep too. In reality, I probably wake up with all my shit gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's me. All right. Good evening from L.A. AFJ the third here is from L.A. Like it. That's a Southern joke. L.A. I'm from L.A. Lower Alabama. So. Bullet is rated for 1,200 feet per second. Should grenade, no exit. Which bullet are we talking about, Tim O'Neill? Let me scroll back up here. Oh, the 90 grain FTX and 300 blackout. Yep. Just be careful because bullets that grenade don't often penetrate fast enough. So or far enough. So, but I've also shot that bullet in a subsonic, and it did not expand nearly enough. It had like one petal come out, and the rest of it was just there. So I have a 300 blackout video on it somewhere. Transom windows over steel doors. There you go. Dodge tornadoes all left in the Florida Gulf Coast. Just another tricky day. There you go. I have green tips in my M4. Yeah, not what you want to use for home defense, especially in an M4. So the green tips were supposed to have that steel penetrator keep going through and then shred the jacket. But to do it, you either got to be up close and personal, or you got to have a 20-inch barrel to get the velocity. So in a 5.56. Yep. What's up, Scott Leeper? What's up, James Hine? Yes, number 4 buck. It's 27.22 caliber pellets. Yep. 38 special, 2 number, 4 pellets, 3 wad cutters. There you go. One size doesn't fit all with ammo. I'm my 44 mag. I use 44 special, 165 grain Hornady for home defense, and Underwood 305 grain hard cast black cherry. Yeah, there you go. Okay, 270 was the caliber, 136 grain. Yes, here in Alaska on the Kuskokwim River. First moose I got, one shot with my rifle. Cool. And I'm actually thinking about taking. I got those to test. I have that bullet to test in my wife's 270, and that's what I'm thinking about taking caribou. If they group accurately in my wife's 270, I might take that caribou hunting next year because unless my wife comes with us. So do understand the limitations of a 270, but it's honestly the only rifle I own as of right now. But do plan on getting a 7mm or 300 in the near future. Good for you. If that's the rifle you have, I don't hate on people who use the 270 because they like it and want to whatever. But if you say it's better than a 6.5 PRC because it's the best thing sliced bed because Jack O'Connor, now we're talking stuff you don't know what you're talking about. But that does not mean if you have one, don't use it. That doesn't mean if you have one, it's not a good deer rifle or not a good caribou rifle or not a good moose rifle. All right, man, you put a one shot on a moose with the 270. Okay, you use something more powerful than moose than I did. I used a 6.5 by 284, which is more like a 308 in power as far as foot pounds of energy. So my 6.5 284 was sending. It'll send that 127 grain LRX between 2980 and 3040. Well, that 127 grain LRX. The 129 for the 270 can go 31. I think out of my wife's rifle was going like 30-60 or something like that. So I use something a little less more powerful than you did. Okay. So congratulations on the moose. Email me alaskanballistics@gmail.com a picture. I want to see the pictures. So anyway, James, I really haven't studied it yet. I know Bullets for Bucks has looked at it. I know what's his name? Hootie Who has looked at it, has a lot of videos with it. So I go look at them. I wasn't impressed with the Gen 1 too much, so I need to go look at the Gen 2 and see if the magazines are better. That'll be great. If they made them all take AICS pattern or Stanag pattern for the caliber magazines, it would be amazing. That and if they made sure all the stocks weren't touching the barrel. I don't know how many when the first one came out I saw. In fact, my 7mm '08 has it. To make it accurate, I'm going to have to put an MTT chassis on it or something. Like we're gonna have to like the stocks were all touching the barrel and all this crappy horrible stocks they had on it. So this is what it
They
is.
made them look so much better. They got the nice fluted barrel, and but I just watched a video by Backfire, and he pointed out that exact thing, that the they don't give enough free float room in there for that thing to be free floated. It still touches on the side, and you'd think they would get that figured out. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The trigger's not that great, I guess, but I haven't seen one myself. Just going by what he said, there's improvements, but still some issues, and they even created some more issues according to him, just because of the stock and how it's built. The crest is nice, get your eye up there to the scope and everything, but the butt pad is different, sits lower, doesn't work very good prone. So but it's still a $600 gun, so I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were $300 guns when that 350 when you could first find them on the shelf. You could go to
Right. Yeah.
any place 369. It's like if I'm paying over $600, I'm getting something else. You can get a CVA
Right.
Cascade in that range, and that's a
Yeah.
much better rifle. Like that is a much
Exactly.
better
Yep.
rifle. This summer, I saw a Bison with 200 grain LRX hand loads for 30-06. Took 2 shots, pedals peeled off on a rib. In fact, pedals will peel off on that bullet. And bullet nose down, hit only one lung, broke neck with the second shot. Loads doing 2.5K. Yeah. The LRX is a little light for Bison. I'd want to go with the TTSX, the TSX. If I could send it fast, I would go to the TSX. And honestly, I'd do bigger in 30-06 too as well. But you got a Bison. Who am I to complain? All right, So yeah, you hit a rib bone. Yeah, the LRX can shed pedals. I have no doubt that it shedded pedals in my Moose. I never found any of the 3 bullets I put in him. So, but he was dead right within 20 yards of where I first shot him. I got him. That's the main thing. So,
Yep.
Alaskan Ballistics loves 270. I only say the 270 has limitations because I have personal experience with the caliber. It would absolutely stomp medium game, but for moose, I had trouble a few times getting the bigger bulls down. There you go. So not thrilled with the LRX. It shot 3 at 0.41 at 100 yards, but pedals breaking was disappointing. Well, if it's going to shoot that accurately, you should take neck shots all the time. Like there is that. So yeah, was mostly a joke with Chook. There is that. But I do not believe in the caliber. I mean, 270 is like 30-06 for women. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. So it was mostly a joke with Chook. So what's up, David Neal from New Zealand? I hope everything is well down under tomorrow. It's today there for you, but it's tomorrow for me. So okay, so Tim O'Neill's talking about his 300 blackout load. Tim, 90 grains at 2300 is as fast as it will go. 125 grains at 2200 is standard. Same load, lighter bullet, faster speed. I don't have a chronograph, just guessing. Faster is logarithmic, not lineal. Yeah, there is that. So Alvaro, best copper non-lead core for 308 in your opinion? I would actually look at the new Hornady CX, especially if you want something that's going to expand. I look at the Hornady CX in 150 grain. And the reason why I don't say LRX is because it's only available in like 178 grain, 75 grain and up in there, and you want speed in copper bullets. So I would look at the 150 grain Hornady CX. I'd also look at the 130 grain Barnes TTSX. They make a 308, not .277, 308 diameter, 130 grain. And man, even out of my 18-inch AR-10 back here, it is 100 and it's 3,150 feet per second with tack powder out of an 18-inch barrel. And you can't hardly get more than 29 with the 308 and the Barnes manual as well. So I loaded up some 150s in the Barnes manual, and I was getting 2790 with them for my 18-inch barrel. So that's not bad. But I'd say the 130s, that's where it's at, and they penetrate. Go look at my first video. I did 50-yard test on them. They penetrate. I have 2 videos in that series. It was the 130 grain Barnes versus the 125 grain Accubon. Go look at that. That's a good video for you to go look at, and I think you'll be impressed with that. But I think the new Hornady CX does really well too. It expands really well. If it's going too fast, the pedals will break off. I've got a video on that coming up soon too. I've got to film the intros too and the exits and stuff like that. So anyway, so we got a lot of stuff going on here, but yeah, um, definitely is going to be a good bullet. What do you think, Alvaro? What do you think, Steve, about Alvaro's question? Alvaro's question.
Well, I've been I haven't reloaded any of the CX bullets or the Barnes either. It's definitely something I want to start doing, and I was actually leaning towards the CX just because of the fact that they do seem to open up a little better at slower, pace. But yeah, I think it's definitely something I'm looking at for sure.
Yeah, the LRX opens the best at slower speeds, but I think the CX will open better at slower speeds than the TTSX. But you can send that
Okay.
130 grain Barnes so fast. So I don't think it's going to matter. So you can get
Yeah.
it going 3,700 out of a 300 Win Mag. That will shed the pedals. Bullet found when processing, found tip of second shot in the destroyed vertebrae. There you go. 70 yards from Bison. Yep. And you shot it with a 30-06 at a slow speed. Interesting. Well, you got your Bison. That's all that matters. But yeah, I would look at a Barnes TSX if you're hunting 200 yards and in with the 30-06. And I would go, the TSX does need speed, so I would go down to 165 grain. I would not shoot a 200 grain, even for Bison, with that. If you want it to open up at all. You may not want it to. You might want to just take neck shots in the back of the head. Who cares if it opens up then, right? You got a spinal damage. Who cares? Here we go. The Beta 270 again. As I've stated, I do take into account limitations of calories, but I'm capable of working around that by using the right bullet and patience. Exactly, dude. Exactly. You got a moose with it. I'm happy for you. All right. And again, like I said, I might go take it again. Take my wife's 270 hunting this year. So happy about it. Yeah, have trouble finding loads and ammo my rifle likes. I'm still having trouble with my wife's Tika. I've actually found 2 loads it likes. It likes factory Winchester PowerPoint, the old lead PowerPoint 130 grain. I don't want to use those bullets on moose. And then it likes the 100 grain Hornady GMX, and I don't want to use those bullets on moose. So I want her to be able to shoot a moose with it if she wants to. So I guess Steve timed out there as the internet's going bad or something. All right. Yeah, pandemic. Yeah, for real. Agreed that 5 officer successional ballistic properties 270 is great, but they ain't got nothing on 6.5 PRC. No, absolutely not. Out west, longer shots. Yeah, I'd be looking at the LR. Well, in 308, I'd be looking at the LRX. Then, if you got a full length barrel, it should be all right. I'd be looking at the 150 grain CX, the 165 grain CX. Just getting as much speed behind it as you can. Yeah, the 155 grain power hammer bullets are 130 grain TTSX, solid for 308. Yeah, the hammer bullets supposed to be good, pretty good. Georgia reporting in. What's up, my friend? How you doing? All right, glad you're here. I'm from Georgia originally. I don't know if we've met, but yeah, I'm from Georgia, Clayton County, buddy. So graduated Lovejoy High School. So, what's your opinion on double tap ammo? Overrated. Everyone I've shot has been, they'll say it's getting this much. Like it said, it was getting, I don't know, 1,200 feet per second out of a 5-inch barrel Glock 21 on the box, which Glock 21s don't have 5-inch barrels. And then it got 100 feet per second less in a 6-inch barrel Glock Model 40. It's like, no, it's overrated. When I was a teenager, I used 308, and the guys at work used 270. They spend all day bagging 308, so I never touched a 270 since then. Yeah, there you go. The fuddy duddies. Every 20 years, we go through a 6.5 thing and never lasts. We've been in this one for about 15 years. The match shooters started using 6.5 Creedmoor about 15 years ago, and then it caught on with everybody else. So I don't know, and I would say the 6.5 by 55 Swede has stayed on for a long time. I mean, people hunt with that still in moose country, so is what it is. All right. There are so many rifles sold in it in Creedmoor and 6.5 PRC that there's as many. I wouldn't say there's as many of them out there as 270 or 308 or 30-06, but I would say it's definitely in the top 10 calibers of guns owned because there have been so many sold in the last several years, and for good reason. It has good properties. The 6.5 PRC in particular. I've killed two animals with a 6.5 127 grain LRX. I killed a caribou and I killed a moose with it. The 6.5 Creedmoor and the caribou, and the 6.5 by 284 Norma I killed with the I killed the moose with it. So there's a lot of dead moose in Europe to 160 grain soft point 6.5 by 55 Swede. So agreed. I'm more concerned with under penetration than I am concerned with over penetration. I get that, but I still like wouldn't load. Like you're still shooting something that'll go through your bad guy, through your house, through your car, windows, and into the neighbor's yard. That's you know that's still damaging. Like that's still putting you in some liability, even though there's never been a case of actual self defense, the bullet going through and hitting somebody else being sued. But still, you could be liable for that. So I would definitely go with like a TSX hollow point that, same grain, has a similar point of impact. Shoot them both side by side, know where they hit. And that's what we do. All of our guns have 62 grain TSX loaded up in them. I got several different things for that. So I feel like a 270 loaded with nozzle precision would be super potent. Yeah, it's a good one. 140 grain nozzle precision would be great in that. I shoot 220 grain supersonic work just as well. Interesting. Supersonic or subsonic? Both will do the job. 6.5 seems to be a tad more accurate over 400 yards. Most calibers drop one in. Yep, they both drop at 200 yards. FTX is a pistol bullet. You have to drive them. That's very true. I will be the first to say the 270 is not superior to the 6.5 PRC. I honestly debated the get one to replace my 270, but you have proven on your channel they're similar enough that is not necessary. Absolutely, I have. Yeah, agree. Like if you have a 270, don't go buy a 6.5 PRC. If you have a 270, you have a load that works, you have a gun that you like, go for it. All right, it's gonna kill. I'm considering going for it. Excuse me a second here. I want the camera. I'm considering going for it myself. But yeah, if you have a 6.5 PRC, 7mm Remington Mac, 30-06, 270 Winchester, one might be better than X cartridge, but honestly, they are all so close that you don't need to run out and get another. I prefer, yeah, agreed. I prefer. The American Gen 2 uses ACIS mags. The Ranch Gen 2 and 223 uses AR mags. Yeah, and the Ranch original actually they had a AR mag pattern as well. I wish they didn't put it in 223. I wish they put it in 5.56. So. Agreed. I've used Nosler 270 Precisions 150 grain on a big Bammer deer, and I love them. Not talking about brown bears or Godzillas. There you go. My 270 Browning loves 140 grain Sierra Game King rounds. There you go. Finishing the thought, I prefer 30 cals, but I've seen the smaller calibers just work fine. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of people that use muzzle loaders in Alaska. There are certain tags where you can use only a muzzle loader. So I'm going to start looking at that myself. I look at I look at 270 like I look at 40 Smith and Wesson. That's classic. There you go. I like this guy. James, I like you. 130 grain and 30-06, almost a 270. Actually, no. The 130 grain Barnes in a 30-06 will get 100 feet per second more than the 270. And while the 270 has a better ballistic coefficient because of the 130 grain than the 30-06 does, that 100 to 125 feet per second more that you get, like you can get 3,300 to 3,325 depending on your barrel length. That, you know, 130 grain that you get in a 30-06 will outperform, and the 270 doesn't have a big enough ballistic coefficient to make up for the drop. So, like, to make up for the speed. So the drop is going to be, yeah, to make up for the speed. The drop is still going to be better on the 30-06 out to like 4 or 5, 6, 700 yards before that 270 starts taking over. So no, it's not almost. 130 grain in a 30-06 is actually better in many ways than the 270, right? And you know, practically speaking, most 270s don't actually get that 3,200 feet per second in the 130 grain. So you might only get 3,000, and then that 30-06 really gains over it because you can get that 3,300 in a 130 grain and a 30-06. Federal Power Shock Copper 150 grain. I've been playing with the Power Shock 180 grain and 300 Win Mag. Cool. I've been testing that as well. I have not been testing the copper. How do you think 5.56 green tip will do against the bear skull? Just fine. No issues there. I used the LRX because I knew my 200 grain bullet would be going slow. Probably should have gone small at bullet and faster. Maybe that way it shed the pedals evenly and not shed one pedal in turn. Yeah, that happens. So, 300 Win Mag loves 180 grain bullets. I think mine likes 165s. Depends on the bullet though. Copper bullet choice for deer and 130 and 300 Win Mag. If you hand load, I'd load the 130 grain Barnes. You can get it going 3,600 feet per second. It'll shed its pedals and keep penetrating right through. It'll mess a deer up. Especially light game like a deer, light medium game like a deer or a caribou or a mule deer. I wouldn't want to use it against grizzly bear. I wouldn't want to use it against a charging herd of muskox. But yeah, I would definitely use it for deer. 130 grain TTSX. That would be my copper bullet choice for 300 Win Mag. I might even purposely load it a little slow, like 3,300, which you can get 300 Win Mag in or 30-06 in. 300 Win Mag, take all Nosler, Hornady, all brands. I'll take the Sierra Game Kings any day for game. Fair enough. Mushroom effective Sierra Game King rounds off the charts, in my opinion. We all have them. I'll have to check it. Like the soft points, yeah, are pretty good, but the new tip Game Kings, I think, open up a little bit. Planning a cow elk hunt next year with a 150 grain 30-06 was going to load it with TSX, but with the distance, I'm hoping to take a shot at 200 coordinating away, continue, and learn from you that TTX is better for that. TTSX is definitely better for that. And the Hornady CX might be even a little better, to be honest with you. So, appreciate you watching. I actually do all of my hunting with a 30-06 AI and an 8x57. They're both very accurate rifles, and you find me. I do like the 6.5 PRC, 7mm mag, and 300 Win Mag. But my two deer rifles will do. Yep, they will. So, surprised Steve hadn't come back on yet. Yep. Don't shoot subsonic. Yeah, if you got a suppressor, you need to. It's fun. Timothy Blake. What do you think of 338 Win Mag for all North American big game? If it's accurate, yes. I mean, you're going to do a lot of meat damage with a big expanding bullet. I'd go on the 165s or the 180s for like deer, and then find a good load that's in the 220s, 210s, 225s, maybe even 250 for bear and elk, and moose and bison. I shoot the 250 grain nozzle partition that I killed my grizzly bear with. So Okay, the American Rancher's Chamber in 5.56 are looking at mine right now. Cool. I've seen some that said only 223 on it. Yeah, that should work. 225 grain Acubons are going to be a little much for deer, so if they're not going really fast, they might have issues. I have shot one deer with a 50 caliber black powder. I have never shot another deer more than 80 yards, most less than 60 in the Ozarks. Yeah, you're not going to get big unless you find a farm somewhere. I'm not as accurate with the Berettas as I am the Glock, but the PX4 Storm are super accurate. I would take the PX4 Storm into combat tomorrow as a backup. But yeah, they're not as. I don't think the Centurions are series. I don't believe the APX series is as accurate, but they're accurate enough. Like they're just as accurate as a Glock. But I shoot my Glocks better because I've had them longer and stuff. All right, Steve is back with us. All right, deer hide in bush, I hunt in brush. There you go. Use 165 grain Sierra Game Kings, about 30-06 AI at 30-60 feet per second. They drop the deer like a sack of potatoes, but do disintegrate a little. Yeah, and then there you go. I want some subsonic 5.56 hollow points. Why? They wouldn't open up. They would not open up. They're not going fast enough. Thoughts on necking a 10 millimeter down to a 30 cal, like loading 110 grain 30 carbine bullets for pistols? That's cool. If you do it, let me know. I want to hear about it. That's cool. I mean, 40 Super is a necked 45 Super case necked to the 10 millimeter, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're talking about you'd be competing with that new FK Bruno round. So 7mm PRC seems to be bringing in some notice to the .284 7mm again. Your thoughts on it? Yeah, I think the 7mm PRC is a great cartridge. I don't know if it's gonna last. I would like to get one and play with it, but I'd like it to be something for like testing and evaluation from a company that I have to ship back because I don't want to go. I don't want to I got guns that are super accurate and that I love to hunt with and stuff. I would just want to do it for comparisons against Chook's 280 AI or my 7mm Remington Magnum and kind of focus the things on it there, the stuff on it there, kind of focus what they can do. So I would love to play with one. I think it's a great cartridge. But I still don't know it's going to last because it's too niche. It's either made for long range hunters or long range target shooters. And I think what it's going to do is the 6.5 PRC has a reputation amongst target shooters for being great on drop, but the big ballistic coefficient in those lighter bullets aren't as good on wind as they're supposed to be. Okay. Have you noticed that, Steve? Like 700-800 yard shots, the wind is blowing it more than it should.
I haven't had a chance to take mine out that far yet, but I kind of, if I'm shooting 147 grains, I don't think there's going to be that much of a problem. And
I know
you still have to, that when you get out that far, wind is just such a variable that it's just you do as good as you can with what you know and what you can see, and the bullet's going to do what it's going to do, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's the same. That's the same thing with the 6 arc. It's a little lighter, but the BCs are good on all. If the BCs are on 700, they're going to do pretty well, and that's so. Yeah,
there's some reputation out there that even though even though the BC is high, the wind blowing is an issue, and I've seen that in 6.5 Creedmoor. Even out just at 300 yards, I was shooting dead on half-inch groups at 100. Went out to 300, I'm all over the place. The wind was blowing. The wind was blowing, and I was getting like 8-inch groups at 300. And I've just now that was with 127 grain LRX, which is right here, which so the BC isn't super high on, but it was still you would think that it wasn't getting, it was a little 2 to 5 mile an hour gust. It was still in the kill zone on an 8-inch target, but just wasn't what I was expecting. So I was expecting to get able to get 3-inch. Yeah,
it's kind of surprising to me. Yeah,
I did get a 2.5-inch group at 300 yards, so there is that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sub MLA. That's good.
Money on components, bullets, primers, and powders. Yeah, and still get a suppressor though. Everybody needs a suppressor. I reload 11 different calibers. Love Sierra King, King lows. Anyone talking crap on them rounds? Never tried it. So, no, the Sierra Game King's a good bullet. The soft point Full Metal Jacket. So, is what it is. Yeah, if you tried like an 80 grain Full Metal Jacket sub, that would probably tumble on impact and still go through a bunch of walls. 5.56.
Yeah.
Don't shoot it. If you shoot it suppressed, great, but just shoot it with full power loads because it is what it is. All right. But you won't be able to find that new Taurus for a few months yet. I think Chook's getting one. So, yeah, Taurus just released a 10mm. Yeah, and we'll see how many of them get sitting back in the first few months for blowing up and breaking. I'm sure they're terrible. Yeah. Yep.
Some things never change.
That's right. Yeah. Any experience with small rifle primer brass 308? No. I'm not doing any small rifle brass for 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 PRC, or 308, and the reason is because we're probably hitting another primer shortage. It's just back now, getting back to where you could get a few things in stock every once in a while, and we're probably going to hit another primer shortage. And I want my large rifles to go to 308, and my small rifles go to 5.56 and other small rifle calibers. That's what I want to do. I want to keep them separate and keep them where I don't want to start mixing sizes in different cases. I just don't want to do that. I want to keep everything simple, KISS method. But people say it's better. I don't know. I'm 2,300 rounds into 300 blackout reloading project. 4 loads I can plot on the scope. 130 grain at 2,100, 90 grains, 10 mils up at one. Cool. There you go, man. You know your rifle. That's awesome. I just want SIG to make a P226 type pistol in 10mm. There you go. They do. They do. It's called the P220. Yeah, they do. They make a P220 in 10mm. Make a Legion. They make a regular. It's an awesome gun. They make a Hunter, a single action Hunter with the Crypt Tip camo. They make it. I've actually shot it. I shot it a few weeks ago. So it's pretty cool. Military primers are through the roof. Yep. It's single stack though. Yeah, it's single stack because the grip is going to be super huge on it. If it wasn't, oh well, you can get 10 round mags for it. Who cares? It's a great feeling gun. Yeah, the G3Cs were pretty good guns, but yeah, I've seen so many Taurus guns break that I'm never gonna buy one. So never. If they want to give me one to test, I'll test it if they give it to me, but I'm not gonna buy one. Seems like 180 grain in the 7mm would buck wind pretty well. Yes, it would, but most rifles aren't stabilized for that kind of twist in it. Like the 175 grain is about the highest you want to go in a regular 7mm. That isn't. So yeah, I shot one for the first time the other day. It really is nice. Well, Steve, let's talk about what you got coming out on your channel. Go ahead and talk to everybody about what's coming on.
I guess the main thing I'm working on now is I'm just trying to do some research on the 6.8 Western. That is, I was looking at a 7 PRC, but the 6.5 PRC it'll work on elk around here, but I just feel like I need something a little bigger than that. So, and I like the short action, so I'm kind of being drawn towards 6.8 Western, even though there's not a ton of support for it anymore. But it's just an interesting. It's a heck of a round, and
round. Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm working on these days. So, but and now, of course, it's with being 25 below coming up, I'm probably not going to be doing much outside.
I heard that. Browning and Winchester ought to be combining with Hornady and start calling the 6.8 Western the 270 PRC, 277
Yeah,
PRC.
there
What do
you
you
go.
think? That
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Like I'm patenting that idea. All right. I'm gonna email Hornady and
yeah.
Browning tonight and
No,
say,
that's
bam, call the 6.8 Western the 270 PRC. And it'll sell.
yep. Yeah, they
Make you
need Hornady's marketing crew, that's for sure.
Yeah. Get the 165 grain high BC bullet and 1 and 8 twist barrels like you're supposed to. Call it a 277 PRC. Now, did you know this? 2.277 is actually 7 millimeters. 0.284 is like
Right.
7.112 or 0.71, millimeters. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
What should I get when first starting reloading? Depends on what you want to do. But I recommend if you're reloading for rifle rounds for hunting and precision, I recommend a single stage press. I like the Hornady lock and load better than the RCBS I had, to be honest with you. They're both good. Get those, read a bunch of books, watch, get somebody who knows how to reload to come over and help you. And then buy all the primers you can between now and then. Like I was buying before I had my reloading stuff set up in Alaska here. I was buying primers and powders and bullets like crazy, and I didn't even have reloading stuff up. I was because the 2020
Hmm.
crunch of COVID was just hitting, and I hadn't. We were buying a house that I could finally set one up in, but that didn't happen until September of that year that we got to move in. Yeah, that's not cool, you know. So we had to I had to get everything ahead of time. So yeah, definitely
Yeah, we
need more
still
market
can't get
support.
large rifle primers down here.
Yeah, I got large rifle primers, but you can't even carry them on the airplane. TSA won't allow it in a one of the ammo boxes. Like you can't even carry. You can carry live ammunition
Right.
on an airplane, but not primers or powder. Stupid, because that live ammunition, if somehow it got loose and hit another primer in there on a turbulence bump, that's more dangerous than a primer and powder by far. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
stupid. That's why gun control laws don't work. They're stupid. So,
yep.
anyway, all right. So, kind of is what it is. Well, on my channel, we've got several things coming up. I've got another body armor test tomorrow, but this time we put it up against ballistic gel, and we're going to see if putting a trauma pad behind it makes any difference. So I'd like to thank Tacticon Armament, who's one of my affiliate links and everything, for sending me the plate and sending me the trauma pads to test. And if you're one of my Patreon or channel members, um, you've got to let me know, and I might be able to. I'm going to pick one of you guys to get some trauma pads too. They sent me extra, and then they also sent me a scope to review, which is pretty cool, which I hadn't got around to yet. And then they also sent me two panels of level 3A backpack armor. And that level 3A backpack armor, we put a laptop, we put both panels up against the ballistics gel, a laptop, and half a ream of paper. And we shot through them with 5.56. So this is pistol rated armor with 5.56. And it's pretty interesting because we did a similar video before, but we used like 3 huge textbooks. And people go, nobody uses huge textbooks anymore. It's all on a computer and there's a few books here and there. I'm like, oh, yeah, duh. So we decided to see if that would stop a bullet. So that's coming up. And then you might have seen the short on the Quietest 22, the Owaihi from Tactical Solutions. I've got a full length review on that coming up. And then I've got a 300 Win Mag ammo test coming up. I've got a 9mm ammo test coming up through Ballistics Gel. And then I'll have some gun reviews coming up. I just got the JTS. They had it on sale today at PSA. It's over on my MeWe page and on my Arms Directory page, guys. Go look it up. They had it on sale today for less than what I got it for. I thought I got a steal. Now I feel pissed. But yeah, they got it a really good sale. So I got the JTS AK, the Chinese made AK shotgun. They're pretty good if you put the right ammo in it, I've been told. So you know, I'll be looking at it. So um, I'll be shooting it for the first time on Saturday. I've got the Recover Tactical 16-inch barrel adapter kit for your Glock 19. So you have a 16-inch barrel and a folding brace, but it's a 16-inch barrel, so who cares? It has a M-lock rail system. It's made out of high-grade polymer. So you just put your Glock 19 in it with a 16-inch barrel, and it's pretty cool. So we're going to talk about why you might want one of those, and it looks pretty fun. And it's such a lightweight package. You talk about for a home defense or a truck gun or something that's a lightweight package. So, yep. The only press that I've used is a Lee Classic 4-hole turret. There you go. It was new when it started. There we go. Yeah, they're cheaper than ballistics gel, but I think I'm going to have to invest in some good ballistics gel. I had bought this clear gelatin off of Amazon that so many people have used to make clear ballistics gel, and it turned amber brown. Like it was the amber brown of the old ballistics gel. So I'm doing some videos with it, but kind of got to do what you got to do. So, all right, go check out my arms directory page. Make sure you sign up over there, guys. All right. I'll use alignment, all American H-stage turret press. Never too late to get started. There you go. Yeah, I'm looking at getting maybe a Dillon in the future to reload 4,000 rounds of 5.56 with. If I figure it'll pay for itself reloading 4,000 rounds of 5.56, especially when 1,000 rounds of 5.56 is like you're barely able to find it under $500, under 50 cents a round right now. So I think it'll end up paying for itself. The components I have right now, all the components I bought and was given and all that kind of stuff, I'll probably, if I loaded it and didn't charge myself per hour, I'd probably have about 350 or 300 into 1,000 rounds, which is way better. But if I do that, I'll have 450 into 1,000 rounds, which isn't way better, but it'll be better ammo because I loaded it, and it'll be a lot faster with that Dillon. So I'm looking at getting into a Dillon if you're doing a progressive press. But that's going to be a while out. So anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. We will see you at the range. It's been a little over an hour. I got to take my kids. Me and Steve are going to chat for a little while offline. But yeah, guys, God bless. Take care. We'll see you.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.